friends. Today we're looking at more laws. My name is Dwain, and we're hip deep in laws, looking at what God gave his people around the actual code of the covenant, the actual 10 commandments. The other things that God gave formed a legal structure that helped his people understand how to live out the principles of the commandments in their everyday lives. All right? So that's what we're looking at today, more laws. And we're going to the book of Exodus chapter 22, verse 16 through 23 and verse 9. Powerful words here. You shall not afflict a widow or an orphan. If you afflict, this is chapter 23 and verse 23. If you afflict him at all, and if he does not cry out, if he cries out to me, I will surely hear his cry, and my anger will be kindled, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives and your wit shall become widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to someone, don't charge them interest. Verse 26, if you ever take your neighbor's cloak, make sure you give it back, because that's the only thing they have to keep them warm, right? You shall not delay the offering from your harvest and your vintage. The firstborn of your sons belong to me. God is enumerating principles by which he wants his people to live. He's very specific. Remember, they don't know how to live. They came out of a place where they were in slavery. They are free, but they don't know how to live with the code. They don't have any kind of structure for life. So God is implementing a structure in order that his people might be protected, in order that evil might not prosper, in order that they might worship him. He is building a routine into their lives to bring them back to him completely. Exodus chapter 23, verses 1 to 9, you shall not bear false witness or any false report or side with a malicious wicked person. You shall not follow the masses in doing evil, nor shall you be partial to the poor man in his dispute. If you meet your enemy's ox or donkey wandering away, you shall surely return it. If you see a donkey that's fell under its own load, release it. You shall not pervert justice due to your needy brother in his dispute. That is, those who can't advocate for themselves. Don't pervert justice simply because they don't have a bunch of money and they're not powerful. God is establishing righteousness in a code. He is trying to get his people to understand that he wants them to be holy and righteous. Exodus chapter 23, 10 to 19. You shall sow your land for 6 years and gather its field, but on the 7th year you shall let it rest. God says all the land needs to rest so that the poor can eat freely, the animals can eat freely. Don't till the soil. The soil needs to keep a Sabbath. Creation care. God is caring for the land and caring for his people. 3 times a year you shall offer feasts to me. The Passover feast of unleavened bread. God says you got to do that in the spring of the year. Do that for me every single year. Number 2, the Pentecost Feast of Harvest, or also called the Feast of Weeks. 7 weeks after the previous festival, that is, thus beginning 50 days later, the Feast of Pentecost, right? We see that also in the book of Acts. God is calling his people to remember that everything revolves around worship. And then finally, the last feast, the Feast of Tabernacles, or Ingathering, the Feast of Booths, was usually held in September or October after the harvest. God is putting himself at the center of Israelite life and calling them into practical living and application of his laws and his commands, and then keeping before them the centrality of worship. God bless you as we study today.